Hello everyone. This is very necessary that we know this. I've so oftenly talked to so many interpreters when it comes to how best can we present ourselves to be able to deliver the messages to the deaf community or to the public in general when it comes to interpretation or communication. But hardly most of them have ever practiced this or shown this during interpretation. And I want to say so openly that we have two types of interpreters. We have the best interpreters or good interpreters, and we have poor interpreters, those ones that will sign and will never wish to see them signing again because they don't value, they don't consider the feelings of others. Even though I have mentioned to them that there are characteristics of a good interpreter, they have never put into consideration. So in the future, if you want to become a good interpreter, you have to employ some of these skills we are going to talk about. So it's upon you either to be a good interpreter or to be a poor interpreter. It's you to choose. But it's good that I give you this so that you know. Now, number one, that a good sign language interpreter will use appropriate facial expression. It's not all about that when you are signing, you put on facial expression. No, it's never like that. You put the facial expression appropriately. Make sure you select this facial expression appropriately. If it's crying, let us see you cry. Let us see someone crying in you. Let us see a child, a baby, an adult crying in you. Not an adult crying and you are crying like a baby. That's now will make you to become one of the poor and the poorest interpreter that we have in this country. So make sure you select this facial expression appropriately. Number two, that you should know how to use the Kenya Sign Language role play method. A role play method that when you are signing, you are able to tell us that different things are happening in a story at different times or at the same time. So you are the only one interpreting, but we can be able to see so many people in you. That one will make you become a perfect sign language interpreter. The next thing is the use of body shift and eye gaze to model the character in the story as they communicate with each other. Make sure your body is flexible, that you can turn this side if you are the one speaking, and if that person answers you back, you turn this side like this. So make sure your body can shift so easily. Or the eyes can be able, even though you are looking this side, but you are able to look at this side, you are able to look at this side. So that way you are able to communicate or tell the audience that different people are performing different actions at different time. That's a skill for the interpreters. The next thing that we have to know is that you should have a wide range of sign language vocabulary choices, of course, to accurately represent the specific concept being conveyed, including variations. There are some interpreters who are very good, but they have limited vocabularies. You'll see them signing so accurately, but there are some words they will have to fingerspell, meaning they have no idea of how these words are signed. As a good interpreter, you have to collect the signs appropriately. Gather this information from different regions so that you have all the vocabularies you are supposed to have. And remember, when you go to Mombasa, when you go to Kisumu, when you go to Nairobi, go to Western or any part of the region, you should be able to collect those vocabularies in those sites so that you are able to give out appropriate meanings. That will make you become one of the very perfect interpreters that everyone will have to admire when you are signing. The next thing is you should tell the cultural and representational stories appropriately. This is where I have a problem with most of the interpreters. You'll see someone interpreting a wedding, and you will think that it's a funeral. Someone is interpreting during a wedding event, but how someone is expressing the signs and everything, the feelings and the mood and what have you, you see a funeral in that person. You'll see people mourning when it's a wedding ceremony. Likewise, you'll see an event that requires people, that's all about entertainment. People are being entertained, and someone is signing, expressing, giving signs as if it's a war, as if people are fighting when it's a celebration. So when we are able to understand ourselves, that which type of event are we interpreting, which event are we exactly participating in, and which types of vocabularies or body language or facial expression are we supposed to use. If you don't consider that, you will never be a good sign language interpreter. You are, for example, involving yourself in, you are settling disputes in the villages or in the family, and you are discussing about disagreement on land issues, sharing of land. But the way you are signing in a religious context, then it loses a meaning. No one will have to understand you, because now the body language and the facial expression depicts that you are in a religious institution. When you are handling land matters, then that one becomes very poor. It becomes no communication. But most of us, because that we know these minor signs, we feel we know sign language. Sign language is not all about being proud. It's all about having the content, sharing the content appropriately. Then we will become perfect interpreters. Otherwise, if we put pride in ourselves, we will never know sign language. We will never, even though we are going to get that opportunity to interpret or to be employed somewhere because we know the sign language, but we'll never be able to satisfy the deaf community. So, brothers and sisters, those of you who are listening, make sure you put these factors we have discussed, put them in you and let them be part of you, so that you express yourself appropriately using sign language.